should we talk about a Moogle?
We should.
Okay. Okay, fantastic. Let's do a little anime check-in. It's been a few weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been watching some stuff. Some really good, and some I don't know why I do this.
It's par for the course.
Yeah, yeah, basically. So I'm watching a program called Spy X Family. You might have seen some buzz about this.
I have, I've heard about it.
Yeah, it's a currently airing show, which I've mentioned I usually try to wait until stuff is finished airing so I could watch it at my own pace. But I've just been seeing so much about it, and I was just like, you know what, screw it. I think like it's about 4 weeks in, so there's like 4 episodes. And the premise here is that there's this super spy who is like this master of disguise, and he's very good at his job. But he has no personal attachments, right? Because he's a spy.
Mm-hmm.
And but his next mission is he has to either get information or assassinate or whatever somebody. And the way that he has to do it is that he needs to get a wife and kid in order to infiltrate the same school, like this prestigious school that this dude also like has his kid enrolled in. And so he has to go to an orphanage to go find a kid. And he needs to like find a smart kid because he has to get into this prestigious school. And he picks a kid, and turns out the kid is a telepath.
Ah, of course.
And then he finds a wife, and turns out the wife's an assassin.
What a family.
And so, yeah, exactly. But he doesn't know the wife's an assassin, even though she's like also like kicking people's ass like with him. And she doesn't know that he's a spy. But since the little kid is a telepath, she knows everything about them. But she doesn't want them to know that she's a telepath because she thinks that they'll like return her to the orphanage if they know she's a telepath. And it's really funny, and it's pretty adorable with this kid because this kid makes these ridiculous faces whenever she like stumbles across like her new mom's vials of poison and knives, you know, or she's like reading the minds of one of them, and they just like say something like oh, we're like in immediate danger or whatever. And she just makes like these insane like open mouth faces, like where her face just gets enormous. It's almost like the Ren and Stimpy face, but like anime, like where they do the zoom in thing. So yeah, it's really funny. It's very similar to the humor of Kaguya-sama, where there's also like narration, sometimes at the beginning and end of episodes.
Right.
It does it less frequently than Kaguya-sama. So I actually even had to look up the studio to see if it was actually the same people. It is not. But yeah, it's a very similar humor to that. Just like lots of misunderstandings, and it relies a lot on like the dramatic irony of the audience knowing what's going on with the characters and the characters being completely oblivious to the situations. Mm-hmm. And like you have an in because you know everything, and so does the telepath child. But like the mom and dad don't. So yeah, it's very funny. So now I'll be keeping up with that week to week, unexpectedly, but it's very good.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to check that out.
Yeah,
especially with the Kaguya-sama comparison, because I love the humor in that one.
Yeah, it's very, very similar. Which that new season's also airing, but I'm waiting for that to finish up. The other one I started watching, and I think this aired last year. It's called The Detective Is Already Dead. The premise here is that there's a guy. He says he's a middle schooler, but he looks a lot older than a middle schooler. But then at the same time, middle school in Japan is 3 years, so like it also encompasses like what we would consider ninth grade.
Does that really make all the difference here?
No, okay. No, it doesn't. It doesn't. But you also kind of have to keep that in mind. So like he could be like a high schooler, but like it's middle school also. Like, but anyway, like he's a kid, but he like seems slightly older than that. He's on a plane, and the stewardess asked if there is a detective on board. And he's like, well, what the fuck does that mean? Like, nobody ever asked for a detective. Like, they asked for a doctor, like if there's like a medical emergency. And then the girl next to him says, yeah, I'm a detective. And the guy sitting next to me, which is him, is my assistant, or, my sidekick. And he's like, what the fuck are you talking about? And so they do this whole thing. There's a hijacking, all this shit. He ends up roped in. He's now this detective sidekick. And it takes like a weird supernatural twist. I think I've watched like 6 or 7 episodes. It's already, I think it's already jumped the shark, because there was mechs and like crazy stuff. But yeah, it's not a spoiler because the detective dies, and they go back and forth between the two timelines of whenever he was working with her for a few years, and now in the quote unquote present where she is dead and he's like working solo. But there's like monster people that they call androids, even though they have like monster limbs. I don't know. It gets very confusing. But the only reason why I'm bringing this up really is because I don't even know if I'm enjoying the show, to be honest with you. Is that so I was going to already show you this clip, but then it had increasing relevance when I watched the show, because the detective character has white hair and a sort of unique style to her. And I was like, oh, that she kind of looks like a VTuber I had seen. Okay. One of the HoloLive VTubers I had seen. I was like, that's kind of interesting, because usually they have like a very distinct style to them. But it's like, they're anime characters. It's, whatever. Then in like the 3rd episode, that VTuber and another one of the HoloLive VTubers make a cameo appearance in the show. They're doing like a news report, because the plot line had to deal with an idol in the show. Like there was a case involving an idol was that needed a detective's help, whatever. So there was a news report that was being reported on with these 2 HoloLive VTubers in the show. So
that just confirms that this character was seemingly like the design of the character was inspired by the VTuber.
I guess, but it was just weird because I was already going to show you this clip of this VTuber.
To like compare?
And then I watched, no. Completely unrelated.
Oh, okay.
And then I watched the show and I was like, oh, it looks like that VTuber. And then that VTuber was in the show.
Huh.
So let me, I just want to show you the visual so you can see what the VTuber looks like. Because this is Fubuki. I don't know the last name, but it's Fubuki something. So let me, where is it? Okay. Where's the play button? Because this is a YouTube short. Is this it? I'm a Scatman. So I just found it interesting that Japanese VTubers knew Scatman.
But I didn't.
And you didn't. So this was on my feed. Presumably.
You do know it's still playing, right?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Because it's going to keep going. Okay. So this was on my feed, presumably because I get stupid VTuber clips, and also because I had to show you Scatman.
Yes. I mean, you are like maybe the singular person to have those 2 things in their search history. So this was on my YouTube. I had already had it earmarked to show you. Then I start watching this show and I'm like, oh, the character looks like that VTuber. Then that VTuber shows up in the show. Doing Scatman or just no?
No. She wasn't doing Scatman.
Okay.
like I said, she was just doing it was just a cameo. She was doing a news report.
So it had nothing to do with Scatman.
It had nothing to do with Scatman.
Okay.
But it was that VTuber.
Right.
In an anime. Isn't that weird?
I mean, is it? You tell me. Like, you watch a lot. You're like more tuned into this world than I am.
Okay, I have not seen a VTuber in an anime before.
Okay. I mean, wouldn't it make sense? Like, it makes sense, right? Like, you know, in live action shows, they'll sometimes have like a celebrity or maybe even a real news, like Anderson Cooper will show up and do a cameo as like a news reporter. So in an anime, it would make sense to have like a VTuber because they're like a known person, and so like, you know, you recognize them and they're on the TV in that world.
But the coincidence of me having just seen this Scatman clip, then deciding to watch this show, which I'd already had in my Crunchyroll watch list for, I don't know, a couple months. Then I'm watching the show. Yeah,
but you watch you watch all the anime, so I don't think it's that much of a coincidence. You watch a lot.
Yeah, but I don't know how popular the show was. I don't know. I think it's weird. I think it's Jungian synchronicity at work. I think it's something's happening, you know. So you're not convinced?
No, because you watch a lot of anime and you have a history of checking in on VTubers on YouTube. Like, so there's really it's two worlds come together, and you're. I think
Scatman John is in the heavens. And he's pulling the strings.
It was a really good cover. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I'm probably gonna have it in my head for the rest of the day.
See, exactly. And so then the other one I watched, which, God, it was. This one was really not good, and I don't know why I finished it. It was called, oh God, what was it called? I have to look it up because I sent it to my sister because I was like, yeah, this is some fucking shit. Because there was a Final Fantasy 14 reference in it, and so I sent it to her.
So why don't you see that as like some crazy coincidence? Because you play Final Fantasy 14. No,
because I knew that was an MMO show, and so.
Oh, okay.
I was just like. That was the reason why I watched it.
I mean, aren't idols sort of? Isn't there like a parallel between idols and VTubers?
Yeah, they are. They call them like especially the Hololive ones. They're virtual idols.
There you go.
But this show was not. It had nothing to do with idols.
Oh, I thought it did. Or was that the one you were talking about before?
No, it was just the plot of that episode.
Oh,
it was just that case.
Okay.
So I was not like, I wonder if there's going to be a VTuber that shows up. Like that was not what I expected. Anyway. So this MMO one I watched, it was called wait, where God, hold on. And you thought there's never a girl online? ? So very, very bad title, but a very anime title. So the premise here is that a dude plays an MMO and he gets catfished once, and he's like, all right, from now on, anybody that plays a girl character online, I'm just gonna assume that they're a dude. And so he's in this guild, and wouldn't you know it, that everybody that he's playing with is actually a girl. And then wouldn't you know it, he actually goes to school with all of them.
Yeah.
And believe it or not, it's actually not a harem anime. I was genuinely surprised. I thought it was going to be a harem anime just based off of that. Calling it a twist is doing it too much credit.
You were disappointed because that's what you'd shown up for, right?
No. I wanted. Okay, here's the thing. I watched it because I was having trouble sleeping for like a few nights in a row, and I was like, I just need some fucking trash. I want some light MMO jokes. And I came away mostly disappointed in that aspect. There was some okay stuff with the MMO thing, but yeah, this was just not good. It's just not good. Yeah. Like there was some okay MMO stuff. Like it was clear that like the writers had probably played MMOs because they talk about like free to play and like whaling and you know, the PvP arc was okay. There was some good MMO material there. But yeah, this was just.
I mean, when you say the writers probably had some experience with the subject matter they were writing about, that's never a good sign.
I mean, you never know, you know, like, yeah. It was just whatever. Like, it wasn't the worst thing I'd ever seen. It was just like, this is just. Like, they just kind of like dropped plot lines, you know? And I don't know if that was just the case of they didn't have enough episodes. Like, if this was like adapted from a manga or something, or a light novel, and they just didn't have enough time, or if it was just poorly written. I don't know. They just kind of dropped plot lines and stuff. Because it was like a romance also,
sure,
like for kind of no reason between the dude and the one character, the girl who thinks that she can't tell the difference between the game and real life, and so they get married in the game, and so she thinks that that's real.
But he doesn't.
No, he's the rational man, you see. And his catchphrase is like, "There's a difference between reality and the game," which is not a very good catchphrase.
No,
but he says it a lot. So yeah, it was not very good. So that's what I've been watching. And then last point here in Moogle, I am still playing Scarlet Nexus. I probably would have finished it, but the 14 patch happened. So yeah, I think I'm around 18 hours in. But yeah, I'll have more to say when I finish that up, which I don't know how long it is. I think the How Long to Beat said it was like actually not super long. So I should have that finished up soon. Let me double check. Yeah, it says like 24 hours. So, I should have that soon-ish. So, I'll have more to say soon. I
assume if you're planning on finishing it, you're enjoying it.
Yeah, it's not bad. I like the combat. I have issues with the story.
Okay.
And some of the story mechanics. So yeah, I think I'll have a full rundown when I finish it up.
Cool.
Because it's hard to talk about the story without getting the full picture.
Right.
So yeah. So that's it for Moogle this week. Now, it has been a few months, at least I think it has, since we did No Fucking Thanks.
There's no way it's been a few months.
Really?
Maybe a few weeks.
Few weeks?
Yeah.
I don't know. What the fuck is time? I don't know. And genuinely, there really hasn't been a lot going on. There's just been a lot of people getting their apes stolen, which, yeah. Yeah.
That's a phrase we're saying.
It's just, yeah, it's just what happens. And there was a thing with the whole, I don't know if we covered it or not, but the whole, the wallet scam where, MetaMask was like, hey, yeah, your wallet could be stored in your, iCloud, backup. So if people hack your iCloud, they can get your apes. And all the NFT people are like, well, why would you do that? Why would you? Not realizing that, like, well, that's just the way fucking, backups work. So, like, yeah, of course it's there. Like, it's the same way if you store your credentials in your browser and your browser backs up. Like, all your passwords are in the cloud, too. So, if your iCloud gets hacked that way, then, yeah, they could also get all your passwords that you save on Chrome. Like, it's the same fucking thing. Like, these people think that they're tech savvy, and they just don't understand basic fucking concepts. So there was that, but I didn't really think it was worth talking about, even though I just talked about it.
Yeah, like we definitely talked about a wallet scam or two. I can't keep track of if it was the same one or not, because it seems like it's just constant.
Yeah, exactly. That's why it's like you can't cover all this shit. It's just, but this thing happened this week, and so it seems that even the NFT Bored Ape people are upset with the Bored Apes. And this is from a site called The Next Web. And the article is how the Bored Ape Yacht Club Metaverse Mint raised Ethereum gas prices to thousands of dollars. And this will take a lot of explaining because there's a lot of stupid terminology in here. So basically what happened is the Bored Ape Yacht Club decided to expand their shit from monkey JPEGs to fake digital land.
Did they get bored of the monkeys?
I think the goal is to have fake digital land for the monkeys to live on, and I wish I was kidding.
Oh, so it's monkey land in the metaverse.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So to own your own monkey land, but it's not Monkey Island because I think that's an actual video game that you could play and you buy and play.
Is the next Planet of the Apes movie going to take place in the metaverse?
Maybe
they could take over if we're not too careful. If we're not careful enough.
You bastard. What's the end of that? You blew it. What's that?
Oh, it's definitely not that. That's
anyway.
Yeah, are you saying that you blew it is the iconic line from...
I don't remember what it is at the end where it's like the Statue of Liberty, that whole thing. I've never seen it. I just know it. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
That did not sound convincing.
Well, I just know that it's not you blew it.
So anyway, they're selling fake monkey land. And this was all the ape people are so excited. Oh, they got to get in. They got to get in and get their monkey land.
Now, when you say the ape people, are these the apes themselves or the people that own the apes?
People that own the apes. Okay. But what's the difference?
Sure. Yeah, fair.
They identify themselves with the ape pictures. So what's the difference?
Right, because the picture represents them, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
As Paris Hilton showed us.
Yes, on the freaking Tonight Show.
Yeah. So they were selling 55,000 NFTs, which these are NFTs supposedly representing the monkey land. And the price was going to be 305 ape coins each. And at the time of the mint, which is like this original sale, basically, would be $5,800 each. And now these ape coins run on the Ethereum blockchain. So they're basically just Ethereum, but wrapped up in an ape coin. So since this was so heavily anticipated, this would stress the Ethereum network. Mm-hmm. And the Ethereum network charges something called gas fees for transactions. And I think we've talked about this a little bit before. And so it's basically a charge for to verify the activity on the chain. So like if you send money on an exchange or even just send money between wallets, there is a fee required to verify it, and it's verified through mining. Mm-hmm. That's what the miners are doing. And so the miners get that fee whenever they verify the transaction through solving a stupid cipher. And so the fee changes, and it changes based on the number of transactions taking place at a given time. So the more transactions that are happening at one time means the higher the fees go. And so the higher the fees also go up higher because you can bid to get in to have your transaction go through, mm-hmm. if that makes sense. And this is called it's called a gas war.
Oh my.
So if you want your transaction to go through, you have to pay a higher and higher fee.
So
otherwise it just won't happen.
There's an auction just for the right to make a transaction?
Yes.
Or the ability to make a transaction?
Yes.
Wow.
Or you can just wait. But the problem is, if you wait, then you will lose out on one of the highly contested 55,000 NFTs.
Right.
So you need your monkey land. Mm-hmm. So you need to pay higher and higher to get in. Otherwise, your transaction will just fail and you'll lose out on your monkey.
Was it last week, maybe the week before, we were talking about the housing market in Final Fantasy, and now now we're on to monkey land in the metaverse?
Yeah. So as this article says, you could pay more gas fees to give your transaction a higher priority to be processed. Mm-hmm. But you have to pay the minimum gas fee at the time multiplied by the number of gas used in a particular transaction as a processing fee. That's what the gas war is. So if you have the funds, you could be at the top of the list, but you need to pony up. Mm-hmm. In order to claim, these were called the other side NFTs. People started to outbid each other by willing to pay higher gas fees, which drove the network's gas fees to nearly 8,000 gwei, which is a unit to measure gas on the Ethereum network.
So just another made up thing.
Exactly. Yeah. So at the time of the article, data suggested that people spent more than 64,700 Ethereum, which was more than 183 million on transaction fees for the NFTs alone. And so since this was going on, this affected everything that was happening on the Ethereum blockchain. not just trying to buy the NFTs. So if you're trying to move anything on Ethereum, and a lot of these other altcoins run on Ethereum, all the transaction fees skyrocketed. So somebody just said, Ethereum is broken. I just spent $1,000 for a transaction. What happened? Just watched someone pay $3,500 for a transaction fee for a $500 NFT.
Oh, wow.
So it completely fucked over absolutely everything.
You know, people like to say, you know, about the possibilities of the metaverse, right? But the price of gas in the metaverse is even higher than it is in the real world. So I don't really buy into the hype.
So the other problem was that the way this worked, it was running on what they call a smart contract. And a smart contract is basically a piece of code that tells you how a sale is going to happen. And like this article says, smart contracts are snippets of programs on blockchain that execute what terms of the agreement are specified and how they're going to be met. So, for example, a document between the buyer of a house and its seller counts as a contract. In the Web3 world, that's done by a piece of code, like I said. There's a tweet here. Nearly 100 million has been spent on gas for the Bored Ape Yacht Club land sale in 1 hour. This is money that could have gone to Yuga or stayed in the user's pockets. Yuga is the developer of the Bored Ape Yacht Club. The contract had nearly zero gas optimizations. This lists what Yuga Labs did. They whitelisted more addresses than available NFTs, zero optimizations in the smart contract, no max gas limit for minting, gave themselves best positioned lands based on token ID, and blamed Ethereum. So the next thing is that they responded after this all went down, after the sale had happened, and after they made about $400 million in the sale. And the company is valued at $4 billion. They instead blamed Ethereum for this, which, okay, maybe. But it seems as if they were using it as as just a way to say that, oh, well, Ethereum is bad, so we're probably just going to make our own blockchain and coin and use that instead, where we can set the rules for everything and not have to worry about anyone else.
Yeah. It definitely sounds like it. I mean, this is the Wild West, right? So it's not surprising. Yeah. It's not surprising to hear a scheme like this.
But when they do that, if they can set their own rules for all this shit, they can also set their own rules for all that shit. And so they can like they can just completely like rug pull everything and just take the money and run. And I mean, they could basically do that anyway. But if they use somebody else's like token and chain, people can at least follow the money. And if they create their own, it's like they can create more barriers like around themselves, basically.
Right, I see.
It's just funny in their response. It's just like every other fucking coin and chain under the sun is like, oh, well, this wouldn't have happened on our coin. You should have used ours instead of Ethereum, you know, like every fucking thing under the sun, you know.
Well, yeah, because it's all like public perception can have an impact on the value. Well, it does have, like, it is the impact on the value of the currency, right? So
yeah, it's like, oh, well, you should have used Solana. You should have used Fuckcoin. You should have used like it's just whatever the hell. Yeah. So they're like, yeah, ApeCoin needs its own blockchain. But it's like, yeah, it's like, oh, but this is all about decentralization, and you could take your ape and move it anywhere. And they're like, no, you know, Ethereum, this decentralized sort of protocol didn't work for us, so we need to make our own thing and have complete control over it.
Yeah.
It's just like, it's just all bullshit. It's all just complete bullshit. God, but yeah. Like almost $400 million on fucking monkey land. Just insane.
Yeah, it's wild.
Ape coins. That's what we're dealing with. You had something here?
I do. So there was a convention recently called Bitcoin Miami, where enthusiasts gathered and did something. I'm not really sure what it looked like, aside from this TikTok that I saw.
Of course.
This is by Glam Demon 2004, who was on the convention floor, doing some good reporting at Bitcoin Miami. I thought you would find this interesting. We kind of get some insight into Bitcoin enthusiasts and a specific question about them, which we'll listen to now.
I don't know much about Bitcoin in general, which is why I'm here. I love learning. I'm obsessed with learning, and anyone who knows me knows this. But I'm fascinated with the culture, the kind of people it draws in. It's very interesting and deeply, deeply concerning. And I want to know more about it. Nice to meet you. Oh, thank you so much. My name is Serena. What's your name?
I'm Cassius Couvé, host of Poppin' Crypto.
Is that a podcast?
That is a show on YouTube, yes. And what I do is I bring on founders and CEOs of Web3 projects, and before I interview them, I spit a custom rap. Because these be characters moving into Centraland. If NFTs don't ever use, then I don't give a damn.
When's the last time you cried? Let's get intimate.
I don't know. I can't remember the last time I cried. Probably cried in joy when Bitcoin hit its all-time high.
Hell yeah. When's the last time you cried?
I cry probably a couple of days a week, you know?
A couple days a week. That's a great schedule.
Yeah, but with joy, you know? Not with sadness.
Oh, I love that. When's the last time you cried of joy?
Every day, in the morning. Because
You did say twice a week, so you lied. When's the last time you cried?
Never.
Never?
Real men don't cry.
Is this true?
Yes, it's very true.
You've never cried?
Nope, no cry.
Not coming out of your mother?
No, didn't do that either.
Nothing of the sort. That's a man right there.
Kim
You're seeing
Jong-un
this?
never cries.
Jesus Christ.
Whatever Kim Jong-un is doing, I'm doing. And I've always said that. When's the last time you cried?
Last time I cried?
Yeah.
I cried when Snoop Dogg showed up onto Charles Hoskin's space and started talking about how he's building stuff with his son.
Oh.
I wasn't expecting Snoop Dogg and his son to be building stuff on Cardano, but they showed up.
Fuck.
And I was like, the relationship that Snoop Dogg and his son had, I was like, wow, I wish I had that relationship growing up.
An emotional moment for us all. All right. Anything else? Any last words you want to leave people about crypto?
Definitely, if you're new to crypto, get yourself some Bitcoin.
Yeah,
Get yourself on
Bitcoin.
Coinbase. If you haven't even started looking crypto, find that crazy guy that's been talking about crypto to you every single day and say, hey, how can I free myself financially from the fiat system that we have pretty much been slaves to? So
Who's the crazy guy? Is that a specific individual or just someone
Uncle
everyone
Sam.
knows?
It's Uncle Sam.
Uncle Sam.
So yeah, fuck Uncle Sam.
Is he hot?
I mean, I don't know how old he is, but he's very... He can be hot if you like older men.
Oh my God.
I mean, to be fair, I also I felt some tears coming when I saw Snoop Dogg and his son having a bonding moment together.
Yeah, when they said they were working on the Cardano network. Yeah. Cardano, which is currently valued at, I think, like 8 cents a coin. I could actually check that for you, because I think I have like $2 worth. Cardano is currently, I'm sorry, it's 80 cents, not 8 cents.
Hey, that's 10 times the original value, so it must be doing pretty well. The Kim Jong, it shouldn't have surprised me, but the Kim Jong-un name drop.
Yeah, Kim Jong-un is a real man. Yeah.
He's a role model for us all.
That dumpling of a man. Holy fuck.
So that's Bitcoin Miami. Some real insight there. I mean, talk about asking the right questions. You learn a lot.
That's a very good prompt. Yeah.
It is, yeah.
Oh God.
You either never cry or you cry tears of joy whenever the price of Bitcoin goes up, or every day.
Every day. Every day.
You wake up, you brush your teeth, and you cry some tears of joy.
Oof. I just have one more thing here. I encountered perhaps the maybe the worst attempted crypto scam, which was almost perpetrated on my mom.
Oh.
She got an invoice in PayPal trying to get her to spend like $180 supposedly on Bitcoin. And she, of course, immediately asked me about it. And I looked at it and I was like, oh, no, this is just bullshit. This is just somebody trying to get $180 from you. Mm-hmm. It was very lazy because it was like from somebody's Outlook address. And in the invoice, it just said BTC, which is the abbreviation for Bitcoin. And that was it. Like, it didn't say the amount. It didn't say anything. It was just like, I don't know who would fall for that. Who would get a random invoice that they didn't request in their PayPal and be like, oh yeah, I'm going to pay that. Like, what?
Yeah. I mean, that is definitely low effort. Like, usually you have some sort of story or like fake transaction, you know, like referencing something that's somewhat plausible, right? It's like, oh, yeah. I forgot that I owed money for this thing or whatever. Mm-hmm. But
yeah, no, it just said BTC, and I was like, oh no, this is just somebody trying to get you to give them money. It's like, so no, just delete that.
What do you think their hit rate is? Like, if they're sending out, you know, like thousands of these,
it's got to be pretty low. They somehow found like her email address and like just sent out like they're probably just sending out mass email, you know. Mm-hmm. But yeah, because originally she was like, PayPal's saying that I bought crypto, and I was like, what are you talking about? And so then I looked at it, I was like, oh no, this is just an invoice. Like, don't pay this, obviously. Like, just delete the like. But then I looked at it, it had nothing about the amount or like what it was actually for. It just said BTC. Just really.
I guess if you really are sending out tons and tons of them, then you don't really want to have like a specific prompt, right?
Yeah, I guess. But like you might think like, say like, if it says like, oh, if it's one Bitcoin, which is like several, like it's like over $30,000, and then but you put the price as like $100.
Wait, is that really how much one Bitcoin costs?
Yeah.
So like a majority of people, when they have Bitcoin, they're dealing in like fractions of one.
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
Yes.
I didn't realize that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like I have like $100 in Bitcoin, and it's like 0.000000001. Like it's like fractions of fractions of fractions. Mm-hmm. It's like the Office Space thing. It's like fractions of a penny.
Right.
Yeah. It's ridiculous. So yeah, like if they did that, if it said like, oh, this is for one Bitcoin, and somebody had like an inkling of how much a Bitcoin is worth, they might fall for that. Like I could see that, but this didn't even have that. So this is just really bad. So anyway, that's no fucking thing. Thanks for this week. Who knows what we will see next time? I still have that crypto piece coming out. It should be done soon. Okay. We got some dead letters here.
Terrific.
So let's get into that. This one comes from Adam. Who's not my brother. Adam says, world's best neck massager, get it now 50% off free shipping. You know, I might have been in the market for this a few days ago, but then I bought a new chair, so I'm.
Oh, okay.
I'm solving some of my spine issues.
Still though, that's enticing. I mean, 50% off.
Mm-hmm. Plus free shipping. Yeah.
You might have to send me that link.
Mm-hmm. This one is from or maybe Hiram Toyme. Hiram Toyme. And this one says Panasonic logo.
It says the words Panasonic logo?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Yep. I don't know what the purpose of this is.
I mean, you would think that they mistakenly forgot to insert the actual Panasonic logo, right?
Yeah, or my website doesn't
support
let you have images.
Yeah.
But what would that do either? Sending me the Panasonic logo?
Well, I mean, if you're interested in Panasonic, it might catch your eye.
And let's see. I think I had
Remember that time we got like a real email?
You know, I can't control that.
That was fun.
This one might be the best name we've gotten.
Okay.
This one's from Michael Sig, which sounds like a fucking Thomas Pynchon character.
Is that like SIG?
Yeah. No, CIG.
Oh, like cigarette.
Yeah, Michael Sig. That's just cool. That's a cool name.
I picture him smoking on like a street corner, you know, sunglasses.
Yeah.
Maybe a fedora.
No fedora. No, he's too cool.
Fedora.
No. And Michael Sig sends me the website 23narcology.ru.
I said Fedora. That was on, top of my head because I'm reading.
It was on the top of his head too.
There you go. I'm reading the newest Emily St. John Mandel novel. Terrific author, but I'm pretty sure every single book that I've read of hers has had a character wearing a fedora.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
It's a very. I might have to steal his name for something. Michael Sig. I'm just fascinated by that. This one is from Dennis Cab.
That's a good name too.
Yeah, so these might be the best names we've gotten.
Maybe we should rebrand and we can use these as like aliases.
Yeah. You'll be Dennis and I'll be Michael. And Dennis says, "E-girl clothes."
This was a targeted ad.
Yeah, but I don't know what that means.
So there's no link or anything to go along with it?
I guess there is, but it says mywearshop.com/product category /all goods. So it's not very specific. But then the comment says e-girl clothes.
50% off or no?
No, nothing. No deal. No deal.
No free shipping on the virtual clothes?
No, I might have to pay the gas fees.
Oh, yeah, those will kill you.
But what are e-girl clothes? Am I just too old to understand?
Well, what is an e-girl actually? Is that sort of like adjacent to a VTuber?
I don't know.
Because if we could figure out what an e-girl is, then it would be pretty reasonable to figure out what the clothes are for an e-girl.
What is an Urban Dictionary? What is an e-girl?
Is that really what
e-girl.
you want to...
E-girls are usually girls who play games online and can be found on either Twitter or Discord. They send nude/thirst trap. Okay, all right. They can also be found on Twitch. The difference between a normal girl who plays video games and an e-girl. Okay, all right. You know what? I'm not going to read the rest of that.
Wait, girls play video games?
Apparently. You'll never find a girl online, according to anime.
No.
Except for the 6 that you happen to be in a guild with. An e-girl is a species of emo, usually found on TikTok, but commonly spends time on Tumblr. Can be found wearing pink eyeshadow with a large wing.
I don't like using the term species in this.
I don't know. Little hearts under the eyes and a blushed nose, normally wearing some type of shirt from Urban Outfitters over a long sleeve striped shirt. Commonly found doing the me dance, but has probably never seen it before. I don't know what that means either. A girl on TikTok that wears an excessive amount of blush, hearts under the eyes, cute hair, watches anime, and dresses kinda Lolita.
I don't like any of this. I think we need to move on.
A girl that has a sick Instagram feed, good/mediocre music taste, wears clips in their hair, has a cool room, and probably watches the YouTuber Njajaja.
Who's writing these? Has mediocre music taste?
Good/mediocre music taste. A girl who all these definitions of what they wear are completely different, because this one says a girl who dresses mostly in black, probably skates, wears beanies, wears Vans, probably has depressing songs in her playlist, and wears chains around her neck. These are all completely different styles of dress. Mm-hmm. So how am I supposed to shop for e-girl clothes if I don't know what they wear?
It's just more of a vibe than anything else.
But I don't know what the vibe is. Well, okay, here, e-girl, the aesthetics wiki. Here we go. E-girl is an abbreviation of electronic girl. Yeah. So this is like the Hatsune Miku kind of thing, right? Is a type of feminine, attractive aesthetic similar to pastel goth and plant mom. What is plant mom? Plant mom is centered around having plants and plant-related accessories. They raise various plants, mostly flowers and succulents, as if they were their own biological children.
So this is an interesting term here, because it seems like the more you research it, the less you actually understand it.
What is happening?
Yeah, I don't know.
Plant mom fashion has a hipster type theme and does share some aesthetic cues with the Art Hoe, but the theme puts less focus on the art aspects and focuses more on a deep care for nature and raising plants in a motherly fashion. They may wear sweaters with jeans and sneakers. Outside of that particular aspect of the plant mom, it can relate to the rules of the Art Hoe and easily cross over into the aesthetic. This can include Vans and Converse, jeans and jean shorts, loose t-shirts. You mean clothing?
Yeah, this is very
clothing.
Very common types of clothing here.
Sneakers and tennis shoes.
I mean, I guess that makes me an Art Hoe.
No, you're a plant mom.
Plant mom. Sorry. Excuse me.
thin wool sweatshirts, plain jewelry, plain skirts and pants. You're describing clothing. These are clothing. Mm-hmm. They enjoy colors like yellows, especially muted or mustards, baby blue greens, dusty roses, and more muted colors in general. Activities: gardening, going on walks in the forest, going on picnics, reading, photography, picking on pressing flowers.
Isn't Dusty Rose a wrestler?
Okay, music. Okay, this is very interesting. What kind of music did they listen to?
Mediocre.
Cave Town, Claro, Girl in Red, Lizzie McAlpine, Florist, Plant Vibes, Bobbiel, I don't know who that is, Chloe Moriondo, Billy Martin, Conan Gray, Yabadoobie. Am I a plant mom?
Yeah, so is it bad that I recognize like half of these?
Frankie Cosmos.
Oh, terrific artist there. Far from mediocre.
Subgenres. Grunge, plant mom. I'm gonna die.
You're finding this a lot funnier than I am. I really just like, I could take or leave all of this, honestly. I don't.
Grunge plant mom is the aesthetic that combines the grunge aesthetic with plant mom. Yeah. I kind of got it from the name. It involves more cacti plants. Why?
So
Why does it involve more cacti?
So e-girl clothes.
Yeah, let's get back to that.
Shirts and jeans and tennis shoes.
No, that's the plant mom. We got to get back to the e-girl. Okay, all right. The first entry for e-girl on Urban Dictionary was posted in 2009. Trends. An e-girl usually wants to show off a persona of being geeky yet sexy while also being slightly dark. This often manifests itself in interest in anime/manga, video games, Japanese fashion and music, new metal, and lingerie. Other common trends for a 2020 e-girl include pigtails with two thin strands of hair left out parted in the middle, similar to Harley Quinn's hair in the 2016 film Suicide Squad, or two front hair pieces dyed in a different color than the rest of the hair. Other hairstyles such as bangs, twin tails, space buns, and split dye hair are popular as well. Wearing large, bold winged eyeliner along with blush on the nose, dark lipstick, and small doodles beneath the eye such as a heart or star. Striped shirts and fishnets beneath ripped jeans. The ahegao face, whether it's reenacting the face or wearing it on clothes as a pattern. What?
So Suicide Squad really came out 6 years ago?
Apparently. Oh, God. Okay. All right. Let's not look that up. All right. Fashion. The e-girl fashion takes inspiration from emo, scene, goth, grunge, and anime. They also tend to wear their geekiness on their sleeves. Is that literal? I can't tell if that's literal.
Yeah, I hate all of this. I don't know exactly why I do, but I really don't like any of these descriptions.
This is from the aesthetics wiki, though. This is the source.
I don't know. It's just all, I don't know.
They wear their geekiness on their sleeves and will either wear clothing showing off this geeky side, if not getting into outright cosplay with some of their fashion choices. Makeup-wise, many e-girls will often draw on freckles, put heavy amounts of blush on the bridge of their nose or their upper cheeks, draw wings on the corners of their eyes with eyeliner, and otherwise have an over-the-top look to them. And then in parentheses, it says, tend to be over-sexualized.
You think? Wait, these descriptions are over-sexualized.
Are they?
Well, some of
Plant Mom wasn't.
Well, no, Plant Mom was fairly neutral, but like some of these other ones, like there was one about sending nudes and
that was Urban Dictionary. That was yeah. They often do cosplay for conventions and outings. They generally drink Monster, a popular energy drink. Why? Why? That was like a bro drink from the 2000s. What? They tend to stay with each other and not with people of other styles sometimes. They love to watch animes and read mangas. A lot of them are also gamers and can even be streamers sometimes. Okay. I feel like I know less than I did before. I feel like I have a better understanding of the Plant Mom. Mm-hmm. All right, so now I'm curious about the Art Hoe. All right. Art Hoe is an aesthetic based around a love for art, and I know this completely derailed the entire show. A connection to nature, painting, and flowers, and is symbolized by women who love art and nature. The aesthetic was created by Tumblr user Sensitive Black Person. Famous original Art Hoes include actress Amandla. Is that an L in there? Do you know that person?
I don't.
Amandla Steinberg, stylist Ryan Finn, illustrator and musician Janelle Lewis, and rapper Babo Baggins. Okay, all right. Okay. Typical Art Hoe fashion items include the following: Fjallraven Konkin bags, anything associated with quote-unquote art culture or things printed with artists' works on them, mom jeans, graphic tees, Converse sneakers of any color, art socks. The fuck are art socks?
It's the novelty socks that have Starry Night on them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
that your grandmother gives you on Christmas.
Okay.
Yeah.
Art supply / paint as a fashion accessory. What do they just walk around with, like an easel?
I'm sorry, but this is all nonsense. The past 10 minutes of this show have been. It's not like it's just all.
I'm trying to understand the Zoomers. Shirts with thin horizontal stripes, striped meadow shirts, any mustard yellow clothing, Vans old school, checkered slip-on classics, Doc Martens or Mary Jane's, colorful hair clips. Some typical hairstyles include messy buns, the bob cut, classic ponytail, pigtails, micro bangs. Art hoes are drawn to a vintage aesthetic, often shopping at thrift stores, Urban Outfitters, and even some lesser-known fashion brands. DIY culture is popular among art hoes as well, and you'll find people with this aesthetic painting or embroidering their designs on their clothing. Okay, music. Okay. Kali Uchis. I don't know who that is. Babo Baggins. Amanda Steinberg. I thought that was an actor. Willow Smith. MXM Tune. Kuko, Tyler the Creator, Chloe Moriando, Liana Flores, Wallows, Rex Orange County, Claro, and Cavetown. Subgenres: the art mom typically describes a person, typically a woman, who is very wholesome and loves art as their own child. There's some overlap with softy personas in this aesthetic, as art moms may be very soft-hearted and loving towards their art and others. The artsy space kid is an aesthetic that's very similar to Art Hoe, but revolving around space instead of nature or art. I'm so confused.
Oh, I'm done contributing to this conversation.
I'm so confused. All right, we have to move on. I'm so confused. I know even less. I'm more confused. Thank you, Dennis Cab, for your submission and sending me down a hole of existential horror.
I mean, you said this was a Zoomer thing, but wasn't one of the sites from 2009?
It said the first entry for e-girl was 2009.
Oh, okay.
But it didn't. This was all described. The e-girl thing said it was describing the typical 2020 e-girl.
The e-girl has gone through many changes over the years.
I suppose so. We have some cinema to talk about.
So we just cutting that?
That's beautiful cinema.
I don't know what we're gonna do. I don't even know what the runtime is. So before we get into our movie, I added this last minute. So there's been a lot of discussion about David Lynch lately. There was all those rumors that we talked about if he had a secret film at Cannes, all this stuff. Mm-hmm. So a lot of people are wondering, what's his next project? What's he working on? He's very open about what he's doing. In fact, there's this video that where he's talking about.
It turns out because of COVID, my daughter's little school moved up here to the house for a few days, and I'm teaching a course on farm, a course called Farm. And for that, we're building farm animals. And today, for tomorrow's class, I'm building a barn. It's such a fantastic project. Door skin and cardboard, and making a barn about the right size for the small animals they're building. Sheep, ducks, cat, dog, horse, some fruit trees, and it should be a nice little farm, and possibly we'll get some photos of that to share. Okay, that's what I'm working on today. Hope you all are having a great time working on your projects. See you next time.
I love that so much.
I think it's fantastic. I want the photos. I want
to see the photos.
I want to attend the class. I want to make a farm of my own. With David Lynch. Like, it's just it would be a dream. It would be a dream. The school came to his house.
Yeah. That's a hell of a field trip. Yeah.
So is this just like his? Well, first of all, how old is his daughter? I didn't know he had like a young daughter that was still in school.
I think he said his daughter's kid. Did I mishear that?
Oh, okay, that would make a lot more
granddaughter.
sense. That would make a lot more sense.
Turns out because of COVID, my daughter's little school moved up here.
Huh.
Oh, maybe
his daughter's a teacher.
Yeah, that's it. That's gotta be it. Teacher. Yeah. And so he's been enlisted as like a guest instructor.
Yeah, that makes sense. But yeah, if you know, maybe he's in semi-retirement or whatever. Like, you know, I don't know. Or if he's just doing whatever. Like, he can do whatever he wants. Like, it's just good.
This is just his latest project.
It's just good. Yeah, I want to see the photos. I want to.
The thing is, like, anything David Lynch does is art, whether he intends to be or not.
Exactly. Yep. But anyway, we do have our current project is to talk about a movie.
Yeah. You should just, you know, in preparation for this segment, we should all grab a warm glass of milk. Yeah. Maybe some string cheese. Yeah, because we're going to the World's Fair is what we're doing. Did you like that? Did you like that intro?
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Right?
Yeah.
Because one of the characters drank warm milk, and then the other one had string cheese. I
was very worried that he was cooking that milk for too long in the microwave. I thought it was like in there for like 20 seconds seemed like a lot for milk. I don't know.
It was a full 20, huh?
Yeah. It seemed like a really long time.
Maybe it was on like the low setting.
I guess. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It just seemed it seemed like it was going to be hot milk instead of like warm. Anyway.
Yeah, so we're talking about new film called We're All Going to the World's Fair, directed, written, and edited by Jane Schoenbrunn. It stars Anna Cobb in her feature film debut, along with Michael Rogers. Music by Alex G, who you might recognize if you're into to indie music.
If you're a plant mom.
Yeah, if you're a plant mom, there you go. Yeah, this is sort of like a pretty rare mix of like horror and coming of age. Not a combination you see all that often in film, although some coming of age movies can feel like horror films from time to time, because that's just growing up, you know.
Sure.
But yeah, so basically we're following this girl, Casey. She's leading a pretty solitary existence as like a teenager, doesn't really have many friends. She's kind of just like alone up in her bedroom most of the time. Her father is seemingly, I don't know if he's working long hours, if he's an alcoholic, maybe all of the above. So there's really like no support or interaction there. And yeah, she kind of falls into this world of like this role-playing game called the World's Fair, where people make YouTube videos and they like, I don't know, they act out this scenario where they've been like possessed by something, and it's having like effects in their real life, and they sort of like film these like almost like vlog style videos, but there's like a creepiness to them, there's like a darkness to them.
Yeah, it's blending creepypasta with like ARG elements, where they at a point they refer to it as an MMORPG, which is an interesting way to frame it, because what we typically think of as MMORPGs are like, you know, World of Warcraft and Final Fantasy 14 and like older, like, you know, like Ultima Online, and not necessarily like, this is more of the role playing than the game or the like MMO aspect to it.
Yes,
like this is closer to like maybe like some kind of collaborative tabletop storytelling.
Yeah, I mean,
kind of thing.
technically, it does take place online, and there are many people doing it, but it doesn't fit the definition of what you would think of when you think of MMO. Yeah,
just but like by the definition of the individual words,
it makes sense.
It makes sense, but not what we like the connotation of that word. It's like closer to what we understand as like an ARG. So that's what's going on, and yeah, it's blending these ideas of like creepypastas and online video challenges, things like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so Anna's doing this challenge. She's making videos, and she receives a message from this guy who goes by the name of JLB, right? And he sends her these like voice memos, and they eventually do like a Skype chat with each other. And for a while, it's like they're role playing, they're like in the game, they're like making creepy videos. But eventually, JLB becomes more and more concerned about Casey as her videos take a pretty dark turn, and she's there's like allusions to like, suicide and gun violence and self-harm and stuff like that. So he's having trouble like recognizing like what is an act and what is real, because these are things that real teenagers go through, especially those who don't really have a support system and are sort of isolated from the world and always online, right? Mm-hmm. So yeah, I thought this was pretty fascinating. I'm interested to hear what you thought about it. Cause it is pretty unique in that like it incorporates a lot of like YouTube essentially. Mm-hmm. Like there are just like sections, there's like sequences of the film where we're basically just watching the videos that the characters are watching.
Yeah.
And it all involves this World's Fair quote unquote game, right? There's like conspiracies and experiences that people are posting and all these things that kind of feed into the like paranoia and the creepiness of it. Mm-hmm. There's even like some ASMR at one point.
Yes.
Which I thought was, I knew it was coming because in the opening credits, they mentioned like ASMR by whatever company they outsourced it to. But so I was like, oh, I wonder how they're going to incorporate ASMR into this movie.
I think it was just a creator that they got. I don't think it was like a company. But
yeah, okay, yeah. It was like ASMR Sounds something or another. But yeah, it sounded like a company name, but it was probably just the person.
Yeah, I think that's just probably somebody's actual YouTube channel that they got to commission them to do that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was honestly that was like the creepiest moment of the film for me was the ASMR. Yeah, that gave me that like skeeved me out. I was like, ugh.
Well, the context of it is that she can't sleep, right? So she's gone out to this like shed / almost like makeshift like basement type of room in the shed that's like attached to it, and it's clearly her father's, but it's the middle of the night, so nobody's there, and it's got a projector, and so she's watching these videos on a big projector while she's on the couch, and one of them is an ASMR video that's supposed to help you fall asleep, which to me was not the creepy part. To me was like, okay, yeah, that's something that people do. And it sort of had the creepiness, if anything, comes from the atmosphere of like where she is and like the isolation, like she's basically in the middle of the woods. And but the creepy part really comes after that, because the video ends, and of course it's like YouTube, so another one like auto plays, and it's the first message from the JLB character, and he's like distorted Casey's face, and it's like him reaching out for the first time, and it's got a very, very like weird like aesthetic to it.
Yeah. Well, so the thing is that like as soon as the autoplay thing came up, I was like, oh, this is gonna be the scare, right? Mm-hmm. But no, but before that, like the ASMR thing was just like to my core made me uncomfortable. Huh. Like the video itself.
Well, you've said before, like you haven't like dabbled in ASMR, right?
No, I don't get it.
Yeah, I think that has something to do with it, because I felt like that was a pretty mundane ASMR video. Like I feel like that was pretty typical.
Yeah. No, I don't think it was meant to evoke this reaction.
Okay. Yeah.
So this was like a personal reaction where it was just like I was just like thinking about like, oh, this is meant to be this soothing sort of thing to like people that are very, very lonely and like looking for this kind of like comfort, because the video is about like having a bad dream and somebody like lulling you to sleep, but it's not just somebody like if it was a video of somebody just like talking normally to you, like these like affirmation like kind of things. Of just like, hey, it's cool, you know, like go back to sleep, you're all right. Like, but it's like, hey, you go back to sleep, like with the crinkly mouth shit. Like, it just feels like just so out of place for like reality to me. And like I know that ASMR is such a thing that it feels like a product to me. Like this, like I know that this is a YouTube video and this person has a channel filled with 100 different scenarios of like, you know, mom wakes you up from school ASMR and like, you know, like all the different fucking bizarre, like, I don't want to say fetish because it's not always like a sexual thing for people, but like just the very specific scenarios that people are looking for their brain tingle thing. And it just makes me very uncomfortable. It really does.
Yeah, well, I mean, this specific ASMR video fits with the film because loneliness is like at the core of these two characters.
No, it completely fits, and I get the scenario, and like it serves its purpose.
Oh, sure.
It's just for me, it makes me very uncomfortable. Like I don't like the crinkly mouth thing. I don't like the way that like no person actually talks like this. You know, like if you're trying to replicate the experience of being soothed by a person, you know, like nobody actually would act like that. It just feels so artificial and wrong to me. But like I understand its purpose. Yeah,
I mean, there is a lot about this film that's uncomfortable. Most of it by design. But yeah, it's like just there's like a mix between genuinely like unsettling stuff that like relates to like the horror role playing. And then there's also just like the sort of like stuff that's verging on cringeworthy, like this is a teenager making YouTube videos type thing.
Yeah.
Or even just like, you know, the cringy stuff that we say or do when we're young. There's like a mix between those two types of uncomfortable situations, right? Which is why I think the movie's so effective, because it's like mixing the horror of like body horror or like visual horror with actual like growing up.
Yeah.
And especially growing up on the internet.
Yeah, like the one of the first videos she makes where she heads out into the woods and is like talking about her sleepwalking or whatever. And just the way that she's delivering, the way that she's speaking, like the stop and start of it, and just this like, oh yeah, this is just an awkward teenager that doesn't have anybody to talk to, so she's going to talk to the camera.
Yes.
It's just so perfectly encapsulates that to such an insane degree. Like it so totally nails that. Like the way that she speaks, the dialogue, like, or I guess the monologue rather, like it's so completely spot on.
It's so spot on that I almost think it's like improvised.
Yeah, it was that good.
It felt like she was given a prompt and was like, talk about this, which is just, you know, it was realistic. It was really good.
Yeah, and then the other one obviously is the dance video.
Yes.
Where it's like, yeah, this is a teenager dancing to a song in her room, and then she just decided to film it, right? Like that is such a growing up with the internet thing, you know. But then like the twist here is that she's either acting or she is like dealing with this I don't even know what to call it, like
sort of like a feeling where you don't have full control over yourself, right? Like almost not quite possession, but just like this sort of like lack of trust with your own actions in a way, I guess is a way to describe it. It's kind of abstract. Yeah. So she's doing the dance and she's singing along to this song. And then all of a sudden she's just like in the middle of it, she just stops and screams like she like woke up and didn't know where the hell she was. And then she continues. And at once it's almost like she recognizes how cringy this is going to look in a year from now, you know, if she looks back on it. But it's also fulfilling the role of this out of body experience that she's having. Yes.
It's fulfilling both.
And it's also a actual like scare, and it's in line with the role playing game that she's making the video for too.
Yeah, exactly.
What'd you think about the tarot reading video?
I enjoyed the fact that there were cuts in it because to me that signified that she pulled out the cards that she wanted to.
Okay.
Instead of it being a random draw.
Oh, that's funny. I didn't pick up on that.
Yeah, I enjoyed that a lot. Because the fact that like I don't even know what kind of draw she was like attempting to do. Like I didn't count the cards. But it was just like she wanted to get a message across and she was just using the symbology of the cards to say what she wanted to say. Like it was just an excuse to say what she wanted to say.
Yes.
And so she was using the symbology of the cards to do that.
And the unsettling aspect of that video is because you have JLB who's like concerned for her well-being. And then you have this video that it really contrasts with the videos that she's made prior to this because it's so lucid, you know, where she has like this message for him specifically. And she's like, you don't know what you're talking about. You think you do, but you don't. And it's like just like it's like this very purposeful message compared to the previous videos where she's sort of like either like scared or unsure about something or even not in full control, right? Yeah, I found it really effective in that way. It was like unsettling, especially like because you're watching it at like you are JLB watching it, right? From that perspective.
Something I didn't mention, which I should have mentioned at the top, was that I actually watched, like unintentionally, I probably watched this in the most immersive way possible because I watched this on my laptop.
Ooh, interesting.
Yeah, because I forgot that I needed to watch it, and so I started watching it towards the end of the Pens game. And so I had the Pens game on my TV, and so I started watching on my laptop, and then I just decided to continue watching it on my laptop because I was like, oh, this makes perfect sense for this movie.
Yeah, that is perfect.
Yeah, because so much of it is, as we said, these YouTube videos and people communicating through video chat, and it actually made complete sense to watch it that way.
I watched, do you remember that horror movie? It was like meant to be like a found footage type of thing called Unfriended from a number of years ago.
Yeah. Wasn't it the one where like it was a bunch of people in a video chat?
Yes, it took place entirely on a computer screen. And so I made the conscious choice to watch that on my laptop, which was just added to it. Because you even see like throughout the film, you see all the, you know, the icons and the bar on the bottom of the screen and everything.
Right.
And then I saw the sequel to it in a movie theater. So it was like the complete opposite.
I didn't even know that got a sequel.
Yeah, and you know, it wasn't that. Like both of those movies are not great or anything, but they're also like they have some really cool moments in them. Like they're pretty interesting, especially for like because they are studio horror films. They're like Blumhouse or something.
Right.
And so for what they are, like they're playing with some interesting ideas and like visual stuff. But yeah, this is another thing where the type of screen you watch it on really does make a difference.
Yeah.
And of course, you have a character watching some YouTube videos on a big giant projector on a wall too. So
right.
But yeah, I really enjoyed this. I thought I understand completely the people who were saying that how this is like Bo Burnham's 8th grade if he had written it after his latest comedy special. Where he was stuck in a house for an entire year. Because that's pretty accurate because it does capture a similar type of like adolescence, very, very like raw and like candid type of adolescence, very awkward. And like you said, it's like one of the videos like you will regret that in a year. You will regret that being on the internet in a year from now. So, but what did you think about the way this movie like wrapped up with the sort of epilogue that you hear from the perspective of or from the actual like voice of JLB, because he's telling you what happened rather than you actually seeing it, right?
I didn't know quite how to take it, to be honest. We don't see her at all.
We don't see her after the moment that she cuts off communication with him.
Yeah. And so I was taking into account the fact that he's not just saying this, he's making a video about it.
Right.
And so in my mind, to me, he's continuing the game. He's continuing the creepypasta, right? So I don't know if what he's saying is true.
Yeah, I think that's intentionally like up in the air, right? Because there is a moment where he's so concerned that he's like, can we just stop playing the game for a minute and have like a real conversation?
Yeah.
So it's really hard to tell like where he's coming from. Because like if you take it at face value, it's a pretty optimistic ending to the themes of the film, right? If this is like someone who was really struggling, seemingly at the end of high school, and like really going through it, and then finds help and is able to like successfully like grow and like move on with her life, right? But there's just something about this guy and hearing it from his perspective. There's just something that rings that just like is false about it. I don't quite know how to describe it, but there is something about it that's makes me a little bit uneasy. Maybe it's like his investment with her life. Maybe it has something to do with that. I'm not really sure, but
It's like he's waited this long to like come up with a rationalization for it. And now he is like putting pen to paper, you know, and is I don't this is how he's going to deal, and the only way that he knows how to deal is through this game. Even though he's the one that like is seemingly able to flip the switch between the game and real life, but at the same time, like this is all that we see of him. This is all that he's got going for him is watching other people.
Yeah, exactly, right? Because he is very much as isolated as she was throughout this film, and we can talk about what's real life versus the game, but really, what is the difference? If he's only ever in that room looking at or talking to someone through the computer, what is the difference there? Like, what is reality, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's pretty interesting. It's definitely like ambiguous in an intentional way, I think.
Or the fact that we don't see her,
right,
is signifying that she has completely moved on from this.
Yeah, that is another way to read it. Yeah, he's still stuck on it. He's still recording, making videos, and we don't see her because this is not part of like her life anymore. Yeah. I think that's that's my favorite reading of it. I think that makes a lot of sense. But yeah, fascinating movie. Really haven't seen anything quite like it. Just the way it utilizes like the internet and like creepypasta, and usually you'll see movies that are based on like creepypastas, right? But they're more of like adaptations of them rather than looking at it from the people who are invested in them and how it like the effect it has on their lives, which is pretty cool. But yeah.
Do we have anything for next week?
You know, I actually forgot to, well, there's one I've been looking at. I've had it on like my Hulu list for a number of months now because it came out late last year and I heard some good things about it. It's another horror movie if we want to just keep going down this road.
Sure.
It's called Censor.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've heard of it.
Yeah, that one's on Hulu. Honestly, like it seems like it's sort of in a similar vein because it's not quite the same type of thing, but it involves like weird videos and like stories within stories and stuff like that. So it could be, you know, it could be a decent thing to watch after this one.
Okay, sounds good to me. Oh yeah, I did see this baseball shit.
Yeah, this was quite a moment. I'm trying not to talk about baseball on this podcast because, you know, the level of interest has to be pretty low. But Matt,
we did mention the last time there was a crackdown on the sticky stuff.
Yeah, so this is
where
like
people had to drop their pants.
Yes. This is sort of like this involves the latest iteration of that. So should I just like summarize what happened? Because I have a video, but the video isn't. I was struggling to find a good video. The only thing I could find was like this person on YouTube did like a moment by moment breakdown of the scenario. But anyway. So Madison Bumgarner is a Major League Baseball pitcher, plays for the Arizona Diamondbacks. And he was out starting the game the other day, and it's the first inning, right? And he's got a few calls, a few balls and strike calls that he's not happy with. So he's sort of like talking to the umpire. He's like, oh, where was that pitch? And the umpire gestures like, no, it was low. It was a ball. It wasn't a strike. So they're kind of going back and forth. So the inning ends, and he's walking back to the dugout, and he says to the umpire, he's like, well, I had to strike that guy out twice. Meaning like, you know, He didn't get the call right the first time.
Yeah.
And so the umpire kind of like shrugs it off, whatever. And then before Bumgarner gets into the dugout, the other umpire checks his hands. So this is like protocol, right? So basically what the pitchers do nowadays, instead of like a undo your belt sort of situation, they just stick their hand out to check for the sticky stuff that pitchers have sometimes used to help out their game. So basically the umpire that's there by the dugout will do a quick touch of the hand, determine whether there's any sticky stuff on the hand, and that'll be it. They'll just be on their way. But what happened here was strange because Bumgarner sticks his hand out. This umpire takes hold of his hand, starts feeling around, massaging it a little bit.
Yeah.
And is staring directly at Bumgarner. He's not looking down at the hand. He's looking at his face, at Bumgarner's face. He's giving them like a stare down, right? Yeah, so it's just this image of the umpire massaging the guy's hand for an uncomfortable amount of time, longer than is usually required, and staring him down. And so for a moment, Bumgarner's like doesn't understand. He's like, what are you doing? And the umpire doesn't say anything. He just continues to stare at him. And then Bumgarner's like, you can kind of like read his lips. He's like, do you have something to say to me? And then the umpire eventually like lets go of his hand, and Bumgarner's like realized that this was like intimidation essentially, because this umpire is upset about Bumgarner's interaction with the other umpire, right? So he's like trying to like stare him down, intimidate him, rather than just being like saying something directly. Yeah. So Bumgarner's like, well, fuck you. Yeah. And as soon as he says fuck you, the umpire just tosses him. He ejects him from the game. And that, of course, sets Bumgarner off. And he just like has to be held back by his teammates. And he's like screaming at the guy, which, I don't blame him. Because like for one, it was just bizarre piece of intimidation. And number two, it's like borderline harassment because he's like actively like he was feeling him up. Like he's feeling up his hand. Like it was very strange. You said massage, and it really looks like he was giving him a hand massage. It was so strange. Yeah, it's a violation. It's definitely like a violation of like, I don't know, personal space. It definitely was not protocol. Yeah, no, it's taking advantage of this weird protocol that they have. Well, the umpire has to touch the hands, like, and he's just like rubbing on his hands and looking at him straight in the eyes as he's doing it. It's so bizarre. Yeah, and there's that moment while it's going on that Bumgarner's like, first he's looking down and then he looks the guy in the eyes and he realizes that there's something off about the situation. Because he's not looking at his hands. He can't look for any material. He's looking at his eyes. It's like, what the fuck are you possibly doing? Yeah, so strange. Because like as an umpire, don't you have the authority to like hand out a warning if you don't like the way players talking to you or talking to one of your... I would imagine. So wouldn't you like verbalize what your issue is rather than doing this strange intimidation tactic? Yeah, this guy doesn't say a word until he ejects him, I think. Right. Completely silent, just like intense staring and hand rubbing. It's so weird too. I hadn't seen another one of these hand check situations, but this dude was like taking his, like, it literally looks like a hand massage. He's like taking his thumb and like he's like on his palm. It's like, it really looks like a hand massage. Well, it was so bizarre. Yeah, in one of the sort of like analysis videos I saw of this situation, they did reference like what a typical check looks like. And so they showed a clip and it's literally just like it's like stick out your hand, umpire like touches the palm of your hand for like a second and he's like, you're good to go. And that's it. It's like a drive by. It's like half of a second. And this was much longer than that. Yeah, it was uncomfortably long, uncomfortably personal, like just bizarre. So has the MLB had anything to say about this? I haven't checked because it's been a couple days now. Do you know? I haven't seen anything. I'd be curious because like you'd think there would have to be some sort of statement or some sort of maybe I'm just like wishful thinking here, but some sort of repercussion for this umpire because this cannot be acceptable.
I feel like umpires can get away with anything. Has like the players union said anything?
Yeah,
That might be.
That's probably where you would get it from, right?
Yeah, just weird. Just weird.
Yeah, I've been following baseball more closely than I have in years, and it is a strange league. It is a strange league, a weird sport. You never quite know what you're going to see.
No, I honestly didn't think it can get weirder than players having to drop their pants in the middle of a stadium. But here we are.
No, this is objectively weirder than that.
Somehow they found a way.
Yeah. And just from a game standpoint, like this is the starting pitcher. He got tossed in the first inning.
Right.
So
it
that
affects the game.
That has a huge effect on the game.
And now with all the fucking gambling and shit, like
what's the over under on how long the hand check will be?
Yeah.
Place your bets.
Like, yeah, like imagine you put money down on Bumgarner to have like so many strikeouts or whatever, and then he's tossed immediately.
Yeah. Well, maybe that's how real change happens, because if Vegas isn't happy with something that's going on in sports, then maybe the league has incentive to step in.
Right. Yeah.
But that reminds me of a TikTok I saw recently of this guy who, of course, he placed a bet on the Masters, the golf tournament, and the bet had nothing to do with like actual like play. What it was is he bet on whether or not the winner of the Masters would cry when like in the immediate aftermath of winning, whether he would cry like on the field. And so like the TikTok is this guy watching the broadcast, and the winner is going and hugging all of like his family members and like his father, his wife, whatever. And he's like rooting for, he's like cheering the guy. Like he's like, oh no, not the dad. The dad might ruin my chances here. Like it's just so absurd that you can bet on like literally anything. But yeah, that was the baseball check-in there.
Did we do a show?
You could call it that.
I think we did a show.
Yeah.
Had some detours along the way. But I think we did a show. Yeah, thank you so much for listening. We really do appreciate it. Just a couple notes here. I don't know what's going on with the runtimes. I genuinely don't know what's happening. I'm doing everything normal in the edits, and when I export the files, the runtime is normal, but then in the players and the pod feeds, sometimes they're showing up as like being double or longer the length of what they actually are.
Oh shoot, I didn't tell you.
What?
I snuck in some ASMR sessions at the end of the shows. I added them on as like a special Easter egg.
But no, that's the thing. They're also playing normally. So as far as I can tell, like I try to scrub through like on my end, like on a player, like, and I use Pocket Casts, hashtag not a sponsor. And it was fine.
I don't think you need to use that hashtag here. You
never
it's
know.
Implied.
Well, if they're not paying me, I don't want to like promote.
Sure.
But if anybody's having issues, please let me know, because I gotta figure out what the fuck's going on.
That is strange.
These episodes are not as long as some of these players are making them seem. Like even on the website, it's like getting fucked. But then I check the file, and the file is completely fine. So I don't know what the deal is. There's not like a ton of like empty space at the end of the episode. Like, yeah, I don't know what the deal is.
So what are we talking, like 4 hours?
Yeah, they're like stupidly long. So yeah. So if somebody gets to the end of the episode and hears this message, yeah, episodes are not actually super fucking long. Facebook, I'm still at war. It has been many moons since I've heard from home. They're just removing podcasts from the service after like, I don't know, 4 months or so of being like, hey, you could add your podcast to Facebook. I don't know. It was really dumb anyway, because you couldn't see the podcasts on desktop. It was only mobile.
Wait, so they're removing all podcasts or just ours?
All podcasts.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, it's not just us. But they made like a big deal. It's like, hey, you could add your podcast to Facebook. It's like, okay, fine, take my RSS feed. And so it would just like auto post podcast, but only on mobile. So whatever, the site sucks, but hey, follow us, facebook.com/DeadEndRoad.tv.
There you go.
Yeah, also if you're somehow listening to the show and you make it all the way to the end, but like you prefer it to be on another service that we're somehow not on, yeah, give me a heads up and I will do my very best to accommodate. And as always, you can follow me on Twitter at DeadEndRoad. As I said, the Facebook, twitch.tv/DeadEndRoadTV. We'll be trying to work on some live shows in the coming weeks. I'm still working on some graphics packages and stuff for that. YouTube search DeadEndRoad TV, and the email us at video@deadendroad.co. And if you have time, please give us a rating if the podcast app of your choice allows you to do so, like Apple Podcasts. I think that's it.
I think so.
Yeah. All right. We will see you next time. Thank you so much for listening.